everyone, welcome to part 1 of training day, and in this video we're just going to go over the controls. And as you can see, there are 5 bikes, and even though all 5 of these bikes are different, the controls are going to be pretty much located in the same location. So as you can see here, this is the throttle, which is going to be on the right hand side of your bike. And just remember that if you're new at riding and you just purchased a bike that is over 600 cc's, I would not mess with that. You want to be very careful with it. It's not a motor scooter or a mountain bike. This is a cutoff switch, and I will go over exactly how this works in conjunction with everything else with your ignition and the engine start button. And this is actually your ignition here, and how this works is you just turn the ignition to the right, and this will turn on your bike, but it's not going to start your engine like it would like in a car. And here's your engine start button just below your engine cutoff. Alright, this is the front lever on the right hand side of your bike, which will activate your front brake only, and your rear brake is going to be located on your right rear foot peg. These are your headlights. I tend to leave these on all the time, day or night, but they're going to be located on the left hand side of your bike, and just beneath that is going to be your turn signals. And the way this works is if you want to turn left or right, then you will obviously hit the switch either left or right, and if you want to turn these off, you just press that switch kind of like a button, and then right underneath that is going to be the horn. Now on my bike, because I have a lot of exhaust, I really don't use a horn. My exhaust is actually louder than the horn itself, so I just rev up the motor if I have to get somebody's attention. But for the most part on my bike, a horn is actually pointless. It's worthless. And then this lever, which is going to be on the left hand side, this is going to be your clutch, and you will be using this a lot, especially when you are downshifting. And here is your gear selector, which I will go over exactly how this works extensively throughout the video. Now when you turn on your bike, or when you turn ignition, all of your lights are going to flash for maybe a second or so, and just keep in mind that everything should turn off except for your neutral light. So if you have any other lights on, like a red one that indicates an oil light or an engine light, then that means that you're having some mechanical problems, and in my opinion you should definitely have your bike checked out by a technician or a bike mechanic. So once you start your bike up, you're going to want to let it warm up for a bit, maybe a minute or two. So some bikes are probably going to give you some sort of temperature gauge, and on mine it's going to read F and then low. And what you do is you just wait until it gets to a certain degree. For me, I will start riding after it gets to maybe 110. Some bikes might be a little bit different, but for the most part you definitely do not want to ride your bike while it's still cold. You're going to want to let it warm up at least 100 degrees or better. So after your bike warms up, and if you don't have a temperature gauge, the best way to find out whether your bike is finished warming up is you want to look at your RPM. Your RPM is going to naturally want to go up as the bike is cold because it's trying to warm up. And then once your bike warms up, the RPM is going to naturally want to decline a little bit. Alright, so you stick your key in and you turn the ignition. Your fuel pump is going to come on, and all of your lights are going to blink. And you hit the engine start button. And remember to allow your bike to warm up for a few minutes before you take off. Now I'm going to hit the engine kill switch, and as you can see, it only turns the engine off, but all the lights remain on. So this is actually not the way you want to turn your bike off. You're going to want to make sure that you use the ignition to completely turn your bike off. Alright, so the gear shifter and the gear selector, which in my opinion it's not too difficult. So the way you work this is you pretty much pulling your clutch and then you just kick up. So for example, if you're in gear or in first gear, you're just pulling your clutch and you just pull all the way up till you get to 2, and then you go all the way up to 5, or if you have 6 gears, and it's going to be 6. Now the only tricky thing is getting into neutral, and basically how you do that is that's going to be halfway up. As you can see in the picture, the neutral is like right between 1 and 2. So instead of you kicking all the way up, it's going to be halfway up, and then to get from neutral to 2, it's going to be halfway up, then 2 to 3 is going to be all the way up, and then to shift down it's going to be pretty much the same thing but in reverse. You're going to kick down, and this time you definitely want to make sure that you're pulling your clutch for this one, and just be careful when you're shifting down. Watch your speed. So if you're in second gear and you want to get into first, you want to make sure that you check your speed, you're not going too fast. And some bikes, they won't even let you go into first until you slow it down a bit. So you don't want to be going over 15 or 20 miles an hour trying to get into first gear. You want to just use first gear pretty much only for after you've stopped, and then you want to pick up that momentum to get going again. That's pretty much what first gear is really used for. And this is going to be your initial foot position as you're riding after you finish going through all of your gears. Let's just say if you're on a freeway or something like that, you want to kind of keep the toes on the foot peg. You don't want it too close to the gear selector. And the reason why is because, let's say if you're going through canyons or something, or you're cornering, by accident you can either shift down or apply the rear brake, which is something that you don't want to do. So you just want to make sure that you're not covering the gear selector as you're cornering. Alright, hand signals. Now I don't use hand signals simply because I don't ride with a lot of people, and also a lot of cars tend not to understand this. So, but if you want to learn this, it's pretty easy. So this right here is turn right, turn left, stop, hazard on the left, hazard on the right, slow down. And here are some more hand signals if you want to practice these and memorize them. Again, I don't use them unless I'm riding with a group or I have a bunch of bikers behind me. And again, a lot of drivers, they tend to be very non-responsive to it. I've tried it before, and it seems as if they think that you're either waving at somebody or trying to flick somebody off. So I think that a lot of drivers don't understand these, but if you're riding with a group, then it's probably a good idea to use these. And another thing is, if you just got started, let's say this is like your first or second day riding out on the roads, I would actually recommend that you just keep both hands on your handle grip. Only because it's a lot safer. You don't want to be doing all kinds of fancy moves trying to be safe. Just, use your turn signals and maybe look in the direction that you want to go, and then look over your shoulder to see whether if somebody's either right behind you or beside you. So I would just leave both hands on the handle grip and just focus on going straight. And let's just say if you need to make a left-hand turn, even if it's a few miles down, just stay in that lane that you want to turn. And regardless of who's in front of you, unless that person is just stopped, just switch lanes only if you absolutely have to. But for the most part, just stay in one lane and just concentrate on learning how to control the bike and just ride safe and just stay in that lane. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Hopefully this teaches you something, and I will be coming out with some more videos pretty soon, so you stay tuned. This is Dog Mac. Thanks for watching.